Another huge problem that we see with a lot of these bad policies in cities like San Francisco and Chicago and New York is being really weak on crime and being really hostile to law enforcement. And they turn their backs on law enforcement. They defunded police or reduced the budgets dramatically in 2020 and 2021. Soros will fund these prosecutors. They get in places like San Francisco, and then what happens? They don't prosecute crimes. You can go and steal from stores, but if you steal less than $1,000, they just let you steal what you want. They don't even prosecute you for that. So the result has been crime has skyrocketed in a lot of these different jurisdictions, and the police have been treated horribly. They're not getting any support from a lot of these communities. So in Florida, you know, we do the opposite. We're a law and order state. We're not going to allow criminals to overrun our rights and freedoms and put our communities in jeopardy. And so what we did in 2021 was, as other jurisdictions were cutting funding for law enforcement, we did two things. One, I signed a bill that prohibited any local government in Florida from defunding the police. Yeah. So that's done. We also did, as they were cutting funding in other parts of the country, we did $1,000 bonuses for every single firefighter, EMT, and sworn law enforcement officer in the entire state of Florida. And I'm happy to report in the budget that is going to be on my desk soon, I've already approved this provision. We're doing it again, 2 years in a row, $1,000 bonuses. But we also understood that we have an opportunity. You know, you go and talk to these, I don't know, like, where's the sheriff here? How many, do you have openings here? Four openings. Yeah, they got 4. I was down in Brevard County. You know, they've got like 20 openings. I was in Polk County with Sheriff Grady Judd. They've got 20, 30 openings. And so it used to be, it was very hard to get a job, you know, at a sheriff's department. Part of it now is I just think that, you know, people have been so negative to law enforcement, I think it's caused some people not to want to do it. So we're trying to address that in Florida by saying, I just signed a bill last week that says anybody in Florida who's young and is starting, if they go into law enforcement as a career, or anybody who's currently in law enforcement out of the state of Florida, in places like Seattle or Minneapolis or Chicago where they're getting treated horribly, if they transfer in and they're qualified to fill a position, you get a $5,000 signing bonus for signing up with us. I think you're going to see, I mean, first of all, you're already seeing, I mean, I run into people who left NYPD. I just ran into a guy who left Seattle to come to Florida, and I can tell you this, they're very, very happy when they get here, and they like it better because they get support from the community, they get support from the governor and the legislature, and that's not true in all of those other jurisdictions. They're getting attacked just for doing their job. And so I think we have led the way on law and order, and there's going to be more we're going to be doing over the next year or so, but we've led the way on law and order, and I think the result is going to be you're going to have people that are very qualified that are going to want to come serve, and that's going to make our communities safer. So I'm really looking forward to that happening. And then, you know, we've done a lot on the elections. We've banned ballot harvesting in the state of Florida, which is a bad practice. We don't have unsolicited mail ballots in Florida. And maybe the most important thing we did last year was we banned Zuckerbucks in the state of Florida. You know, if you look at what they did in 2020, they put like Zuckerberg and his groups, they put $420 million into quote, nonprofit groups. And the goal of the nonprofit was to, quote, help with the elections. But what they would do, they'd go to local election offices in key states, and they'd say, hey, here's $5 million for your election, but you need to have ballot harvesting and mail ballots, and you need to bring in and hire all of our people to be able to do. So what they basically did is they used this cash to commandeer the machinery of the actual elections. And then they ran the election for partisan purposes. That is wrong, and so we are not allowing that in the state of Florida.